Okay, game.
Okay.
Let's do this. So you have to speak one fist away from the... Yeah. And then dito ka harap sa akin. Tayong dalawa.
Pressure naman ako rito.
Hindi. Tama ba yung ano natin? Yeah, we're good. Tama yung... We are golden.
Welcome to the Pacos Place podcast.
And the podcast will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, live at Pacos Place, my good friend, Mr. Nino Alejandro.
Hello!
What's up?
Kamusta? Di ba sa wakas?
Finally.
Na natin pinag-uusapan to. This has been years in the making.
Years in the making. Actually, since I started the podcast almost 5 years ago, we were talking
Yeah,
about this.
pinag-uusapan natin. If ever that I'm in town, we have to do this.
How have you been?
Good. I mean, it's lots happened since last saw each other. But good. Life is exciting.
1992.
Wow!
93, nag-ano tayo, Music Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
And then, your career, ako tapos na ako sa Philippines. Ikaw, dire-diretso pa rin. Has it always been a straight line?
No, definitely not. What do you call it? Very colorful and lots of twists and turns yung career ko. Pero I don't know. There have been times, na you think about hanging it up, diba? Just going back and just hanging that dream up and just living a normal life. Pero there's something inside of me that just wanted to keep making music, wanted to keep performing, wanted to always connect to the audience. So like I said, no, it hasn't been just a straight line.
Galing di ba? 93, 2003, 2013, 2000.
This is actually 2025 is my 30th year. 30th year.
So, ang podcast natin, Pacos Place, it is meant to inspire people. If we
Okay.
can inspire just one individual, we've done our
We've
job.
done our job.
So sabi ko, success mindset, yun yung ano eh. So sinabi mo kanina, there were times you wanted to hang it up. What prevented you? And then I asked you a while ago, was it a straight line career? You said no. Ano yung mga challenges that almost broke you? And ano yung mga bagay-bagay that made you decide to keep going?
Well, there are having my last name. Okay,
Alejandro,
having a famous last name.
When you say famous sa mga taong abroad na
Okay.
ano?
I'm Nino Alejandro. I come from
This
the
is your camera.
Alejandro family. I guess we're a very musical family. It started with my uncle Haji Alejandro, and then syempre continued, got even bigger with my cousin Rachel Alejandro, and then in the 90s, ako na yung sumunod. So at the time, being the new Alejandro, everyone would think that definitely has its privileges, its perks. And I'm not gonna lie, there were nakatulong din, to an extent, because it doesn't guarantee anything. Nothing naman is
It just
guaranteed.
gets you in the door.
Maybe it will help you get a meeting, diba? But it's still up to you to
Yeah.
close
Oo
that
nga, no?
meeting to get the deal, diba? So parang in the beginning I was just a songwriter na nangangarap ko maging singer. Every recording company in the Philippines said no, thank you, we're not interested. No, other ones said no multiple times. The company that first signed me said no, I think 2 or 3 times bago sila nag-yes. But hearing that yes the first time was the sweetest thing to my ears. Na we like your songs and parang we can envision you being a singer. Diba?
Original songs to
Original songs though.
that you've written.
That I mean, in the first album, I probably wrote 2 or 3 of
Okay.
the cuts on the first album. All I Can Give You, which was a very, very, youthful kind of bubblegummy pop oriented album. I'm very proud of it. It was what we were thinking and what we were at the time. Diba? This was the mid 90s, so. I'm very proud of the work we did on that. But naturally, with age and experience, it should be growth, diba? And that in itself is a story. So having like I said,
Perks na gano'n, yeah.
like I said, it doesn't guarantee anything. And then the other side, I guess what you could say possibly what the downside is, are the expectations
Matindi
of
yun,
you.
yeah.
That's, parang sometimes you're like, oh my God, they're expecting me to, be like Haji or better than Haji or better than Rachel. And what all I really want to be is yourself.
Alam mo, you know what? Oh my God, now that you've mentioned it, Haji or Rachel, the reason why it worked, by the way, shout out nga pala kay Rach.
Rich.
Yeah. The reason why it worked, lalaki, babae, no comparison. And then ikaw dumarating ka carrying the last
name.
and you look like an Alejandro. Diba? Kumbaga parang, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of expectations. They're like, is he gonna sound like him?
Is he gonna be the next
Is he gonna be the next
kilabot na kolehiya?
So there's pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm still so young. You're still finding yourself in life. You're still finding yourself as an artist, finding your voice. So with those expectations, with shoes that are so huge, diba, to fill. So all the cliches and all the sayings you can say, I'm standing in a huge shadow, diba? So
which was true. It's still true.
Up to this day, yes, definitely. It's just that with time, and I don't really look at it ever as a hindrance anymore. Because through the years, I've established what kind of artist I am. Where in addition to being a singer, a songwriter, I'm also a producer. I'm also an actor. So I do, things that are a little different from what they do. And so parang I want to think na nag-carve ako ng konting pwesto sa industry for myself.
But then again, the proving part, diba? Like ako, if in contrast, there was nothing to compare myself to. I just had to make it or break it and leave. Parang
you just had to go out there and be the best you could be.
Kasi walang hindi naman ako royalty, diba? Parang ganon. But you're right. It can work to your advantage or your disadvantage. Ang blessing doon, your Tito Haji and your cousin Rachel, super supportive.
Oh yeah.
Even the time when I had Rachel here, she was really excited now. Waiting for today na mangyayari to. And when you did The Voice, they were there.
Yeah.
Diba? Very supportive. How much did it help to have relatives na talagang very supportive?
Personally, what I felt inside, it's so nakakaano na, nakakainganyo, you get inspired to see your idols. Kasi idol ko rin sila. Diba? They're supporting you. Diba?
Na pwede naman hindi na pumunta ron.
Yeah, diba? Busy sila or they just send a text or something like that. But to see them there, they were there as much as, pumila si Rachel. All right, when I first auditioned, she was there with my wife and my brother outside in the heat. Diba? The thing is, she gets recognized by everyone, even yung mga taga-network. Na, Miss Rachel, baka pwede gan. She's like, no, we'll be fine here. We're gonna go about this the way we're supposed to. No special treatment. So, that's like I said, it feels really good to be supported like that. And finally, when my Tito Haji was able to come and watch, kasi nung una, he was busy, he was out of the country. But then, eventually, nung nandun na tayo sa lives, semifinals, ganito, nandun na siya. It was very, parang perfect coincidence na the night that I was singing his song, I sang Nakapagtataka. The thing is, wala rin mga surprise. I knew about it. They made it like, oh, he's there. But I knew about it.
So, which, punta tayo sa first principles na tanong, why'd you even do it?
At that time, prior to me joining The Voice, I'd have to say that may have been, at least in my career, pre-Voice, probably some of the lowest points in my career. Because at that time, wala akong halos mga togs. Wala akong magigig, mga show, walang kumukuha sa akin. I was working a corporate job. I was working
Ano,
a BPO.
For us as artists, no? Once,
I mean, it's
once
just-
mag-corporate tayo, parang, oh my God, here
It's
we
like
go.
you're gonna do it well, pero parang part of your soul is slowly dying.
Yeah.
Diba? And I mean, shout out to everyone that kills it in the corporate world. You know, pero
Para doon talaga sila eh.
yeah. Oo. I mean, I'm a very competitive person in anything I do, whether
Yes.
it's a sport, kahit board game, 'di ba? Kahit ano, I want to be the best, you know. So, I tried to be the best at my job, and I did okay with it. But I remember, you know, hindi mo rin maiwasan because I mean, we come from an earlier time, 'di ba? Minsan yung mga hindi tayo kilala ng bagets eh.
Yeah.
'Di ba? So,
May
you know,
age gap na, generation
So,
gap
if you see some of the older employees, sometimes ako tahimik lang ako sa work eh. And then sometimes they'll be looking at me and they keep looking and you're like, yes? Di ba kayo si ganito? Yes? Ba't kayo nandito?
Yun.
Di ba? Sabi ko, well, I have a newborn daughter and I need to work. You know, so this is work and I just want to do my job. I'm gonna keep my head down and do my job. You know, never naman ako nagpasikat na ako si ganito and I'm working here. Diba? It was them. Pwede ka ba kumanta? No. Diba? That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to do this job and we're gonna do it. You know, because I got into that, you know. It's like when we have kids, we feel we have to do the right thing.
Yep.
And be a grown-up now.
Diba?
To put the guitars and the drums and the microphone
Everything
down.
aside for the sake of
Diba? Na parang, no, enough of that. You're a parent now. So I remember I did this. I remember lahat ng mga polo ko, yung mga time na yun kasi uso pa yung mga pang gig, yung mga deconstructed na
Ako nga, American Boulevard lahat ng mga
yung mga ganun, may mga polo nga siya pero parang punit-punit na ano. So wala akong corporate wear. Diba? Bilihan ako ng mga pang-office na ano, I never really dressed like that. So yun, that was the first and
Time out. So na-encounter mo na dati, tayo ang tumutugtog ng weekdays to now, magna-night out kayo ng weekdays para manood ng artist sa isang...
yeah,
Di ba?
that happens. Yes,
Kasi,
definitely.
di ba, we'll go back to your, we'll hold that train of thought. Pero, pag nagigig tayo ng weeknights, ang mga nanonood sa atin, yung mga guys sa opisina,
Yeah,
di ba?
opisina, oo.
So, nung nag-corporate ka, nagkaroon ba ng time na...
One time na umoo ako sa invitation ng mga ka-office mate ko. I didn't want to though.
Right?
I didn't want to. I was like, I can't do this. Sabi ko, ano ba to?
Parang going corporate, that's one thing. Pero going to a
gig.
happy hour,
Diba, na
watching a gig.
watching
like,
a gig. Yeah. Diba? So parang, I was like, I can't do this. Sabi ko, I just, kudos to the band that's playing, but I don't, parang, it's like parang a complete 180 of what you want.
Yeah.
Diba? So parang, sometimes kasi, diba, other people don't realize na us as musicians, especially let's say if kung pwesto mo sa banda or something like that, so you're the vocalist.
Yeah.
So you sing. So my friends know this. I hate going to karaoke.
Yes.
Okay? It reminds me of work. Alam mo yun, parang kanta ka. And or nadidisappoint sila when I do agree na bigla, ay, karaoke pala to. So we're there. Kanta ka, Nins, kanta ka. Kakanta ako ng sobrang iba. Diba? I'll sing standards or something. Bigla mag-Frank Sinatra ako or mag-Bobby Darin ako or kakanta ako ng ganito. Kanta ka ng rock. Kanta ka ng ganito. Bon Jovi, Highway to Hell. No, sabi ko, that's work. That's work.
May bayad yun eh.
May bayad yun. Exactly, di ba? So sabi ko, if I'm gonna sing something, I'm gonna sing something na hindi ko nakakanta, that's refreshing to my ears. Di ba? So, ganun. And like I said, as much as possible, iniiwasan ko rin, to go to that type of lakad o gimmick na parang, karaoke.
Pero hirap, no? But what very commendable what you had to do for the sake of your family talaga. What you had to reprioritize, di ba? So, balik tayo sa damit mo ngayon. So, ngayon, wala ka mga
Wala akong mga
Corporate.
pang-office. So, alala ko nun, parang pumunta ako sa SM department store. Never ako nakapasok dun sa section na yan eh. 'Di ba? Yung mga pang-tatay talaga. Yung sabi ko, never ako nagsuot ng slacks na ganito. 'Di ba? Na whatever na. Basta ang musician, ang musikero, mas lalo na akong rockista, may forma yun eh.
At saka 3 o'clock nagsisimula ang araw natin.
Diba? So, that was different. That was, it was humbling.
What'd your wife say?
She just was proud of me because she said na ginagawa ko yung kailangan kong gawin. I'm prioritizing my responsibilities as opposed to my ego.
Yeah.
Or, kung ano yung mga sarili kong wants or something. I said, I have to do what I have to do to take care of my family. I've never been in this situation before. I never had kids before. I hope that wala naman.
Ano nilalakon mo siya?
No, I don't have kids anywhere else. What do you call it?
Okay.
No, I don't. But just to go out there because it's scary and it's bruising.
Yes.
To the ego,
Yes.
especially if you feel at one point in your career na dami nangyayari, na parang you're on top of the world, and
And
then
then
all of a
biglang ito
sudden,
nangyayari ngayon.
yeah, then all of a sudden, the times change, diba? Trends change,
Yeah.
diba? So, you'll be in a situation where, you're not as busy, now. So, but there are more responsibilities. So, you're thinking, okay, I have to be a grown up now. And then I did this. I did that for a couple of years. And then it's funny because while I was...
Teka, before you say that, ano yung conversation niya ng wife mo? And the reason why I want to know that is because, again, there are people watching us na baka ego nila, ayaw nila ma-bruise. But it takes a supportive wife to actually encourage her man. Kasi, yesterday, may show tayo. And yung isang kaibigan ko ron, naghiwalay sila ng girlfriend niya, ka-live-in niya for 8 years. Ang dahilan is respect.
Okay,
The lack of respect. So between you and your wife, what was the conversation like? Because that's a very sensitive conversation.
It's sensitive. It's totoo yung kasabihan that the truth hurts.
Yeah.
Diba? But the truth is necessary. Diba? Na parang, okay, let's both, take this punch together.
Ooh,
diba?
sarap, yeah.
Because that's the only way we're going to rise together from it.
Nakaka-inspire ka.
No, my wife is amazing. Shout out to my wife Michelle. She took a chance on musikero lang ako eh, alam mo yun, gig, ano yan, mga piso-piso. As in, ganun lang, di ba?
Ano tayo, piso-piso.
Diba?
Yung sabi guys na piso-piso, 1,000 lang ang kikitain namin sa gabi.
Peso.
1,000 pesos.
Buti nga sana kung dollars. Peso. So, minsan pa nga, mas mababa eh.
Yeah.
Diba? Especially
Pag marami
when you're
kayo.
starting. Di ba? Minsan, iniisip mo, hindi nga natin kailangan yung isang miyembro natin, di ba? Para lang lumaki ng konti yung talent fee. Di ba? So, imagine, I just feel she was such an amazing girl, such a beautiful girl, the smartest person I know. And then all I could offer her was just to make her laugh. I was, she got my humor, I made her laugh. And then, cause I was like, I couldn't take her to fancy places. I'm sure there are lots of wealthy guys that
na pwede niyang piliin.
di ba? They're lining up to take her out, Especially, when we were all younger and stuff like that, So, but she chose me. Her family, a very, very respected family, I remember meeting her mom. Her mom was the sweetest. And then I was terrified meeting her dad because her dad was in the media. He was a bigwig in the media. And then imagine this is their only child.
Oh my God.
Unika iha talaga. And I remember when I met him, I was just like, okay, I gig twice a week, diba?
Hindi pa everyday.
Di pa nga everyday, diba? So it means, like I was saying, it wasn't a high time. But, I have to, I have to thank them, to my father-in-law, God rest his soul, but for giving me a chance to show them that I can be the right guy for their daughter. So and in connection to what we're talking about, once we had gotten to this situation that we had been married for a few years, and then finally, we had gotten pregnant, diba? And you want to be positive na, okay, dadami yung gigs ko. Dadami yung ganito ko. Or, parang, di ba, sabi nga ng iba na, sige, kung kailangan natin kumita ng mas malaki, sige, magsa-sell out tayo sa set list.
Yes.
Or something, di ba? Basta, tumaas yung talent fee.
Kung ano man, do what we must.
Di ba? So, I was thinking these things too. Di ba? And I was in a band, and, in a band, we all know na pantay-patay ang hatian.
Yep.
Diba? So, kung hindi nga ganun kataas yung talent fee, my gosh, it's difficult. Diba? So,
Grabe, no?
I remember I said, I really don't have very many gigs right now. It's not, the high time for that. So, I told my wife na I think I'm gonna apply for a day job, a corporate job. And she was like, really? Are you gonna be okay with that? She was, very, very considerate.
And concerned. Huh?
Yeah, concerned about how I felt about myself. And I said, no, sabi ko, ako naman kasi hindi ako ma-pride na tao about myself or anything like that. Hindi naman misplaced yung, sabi ko, I'm more proud of, I guess the people around me.
Okay,
yeah. So, but I said, she's like, are you sure? Sabi ko, I'm just gonna go out there and do the best that I can, find what I can do to help take care of us, diba? So, she was completely supportive, and she knew that, she knew that I was a performer at heart, that's all I've ever known and all I've ever wanted to do. And, she completely understood that. I'm not ashamed to say that the early years in our marriage, siya yung nag-aalaga sa akin. I mean, she was the one doing a bigger part of the responsibilities, which also, can be damaging to a guy.
Again, we were talking about the ego a while ago.
The ego of, which I also think, but I also think that shouldn't be the only thing we think about there. Once you're married.
Thank you.
Kasi, it's a team. Diba? There are times na kapag meron ako, wala ka. Kapag meron ka, wala ako.
Yes.
We still count as one.
Yes.
But the thing is, you see, even at that time, it still should be yung initiative ng lalaki na maghanap pa rin.
Yes.
What can I do? Diba? To do more.
We are hunters.
Diba? Yeah, exactly. That's just how it is, So I guess in the beginning, when I wasn't in the best position, my wife was amazing and understanding, diba? Na I could give what I could give and stuff like that. We were a team, and then I promised her, I said, if ever one day na either manalo ako ng loto or swertehin ako talaga ng ganito, I said, I'm gonna take such good care of you, and I promise to spoil you and give you what I feel you deserve, diba? So yun, got the job. I was.
How long did you do?
2 years.
You were there for 2 years.
2 years. Kasi I mean, it wasn't like, ayoko na nito, I'm just gonna quit. That was what I was doing. I honestly thought yun na to.
And you gave it your all.
I'm my all, as in, because like I said, competitive ako, and I was thinking of what I can do nga to earn more pa nga. In our company, I worked in a BPO. We was a call center, so you're serving customers and
from
stuff
abroad,
from abroad. Our account was Australian.
Okay,
right, so
you had to practice the American accent, the Australian.
Well,
accent.
I mean, I had my speaking voice. They already said that I sounded like an American when I spoke English. So thank God. And then so I didn't really have a problem with that. And then parang there to keep the employees motivated para ganado lahat, may mga incentives.
Oy.
'Di ba na parang kapag tinamaan nyo yung mga numbers na to, may bonus kayo, may gift check kayo na ganito. So may mga ganon. So
galing,
I was like, kailangan ko yung gift check na yan. Yung 1,000 peso na gift check na yan, pambili ng gatas yan, pambili ng diapers, 'di ba? So I remember there was this one incentive that just seemed impossible. And then they're like, magbibigay kami ng GC na 10,000.
Whoa.
Diba? And, when you're not earning a lot, 10,000 is a big deal, So I was like, I need to find out has anyone ever gotten that 10,000? Sabi nila, wala. So sabi ko, okay. Sabi ko, one day I'm going to find out how to do that. So after just watching the best, that's how I learn. I'm not ashamed to learn from others.
And that's how we grow.
How we do it.
Yeah.
You watch it.
Pulot ka.
And in a way, you steal it. Diba?
Yeah.
Diba? Make it your own.
Yes.
So I put it all together. Now, all of a sudden, I was the first one to earn.
Naabot mo.
Naabot ko. Tamaan ko yung numbers na yan.
So lahat ng metrics na kailangan para makuha mo yung 10,000
Oo,
gift.
hindi. Anong una, akala nila, na parang this has gotta be wrong. Pero binigay sa akin, okay, thank you. So yun, shinaping ko yung gift check na yan, pang groceries, pang baby, pang ganito. So, those are the things I could feel I could do
Tapos,
to help with my wife. And then, what happened was I got a phone call. From an old schoolmate. Okay? And he was like, bro, kumakanta ka pa ba? And I was like, no, hindi. Sabi ko, I'm corporate na ako eh. Why? What's up? Then he's like, kasi nagbukas ako ng bar. Dito lang, in the south, where I lived. Bukas ako ng bar and I was wondering, nag-iisip kami kung sino yung pwedeng mag-perform. And I was like, oh, like when? Like Saturday nights. Monday to Friday lang yung office ko. Sabi ko, may bayad ba to? Oh, of course, bayaran kita ng ganito. Diba? Sabi ko, wow. If I did that 4 times a month, sabi ko, ang laking
dagdag din yun. Yeah.
Laking dagdag nun. Sabi ko, sige, I can do the office during this and then I'll do the, gig on Saturday. So I did the gig on Saturday.
Did you have a conversation with your wife about this?
She was very supportive. She's like, as long as,
Nice.
hindi ko papabayaan yung sarili ko, pagod ko and everything that she said if I could physically and mentally handle it, go.
Okay.
Sabi ko, and, syempre, sabi ko, makakatulong ako eh. I mean,
Yeah.
syempre, for a guy, the moment we get a job,
Yes.
there's
relief na
there's
yun eh.
relief and pride that you want to tell your wife na, hey, I got this for us.
Yeah.
Diba? And it's awesome because my wife was very grateful and thankful. Diba? So, started off Saturday nights. So, after mga 2-3 weeks, saya na kasi I even had my keyboardist friend with me. So, we were playing. And,
Parang the band is back together.
parang at least kaming dalawa, I was able to mailabas ko yung kaya sa
yung
singer.
scratch that itch.
Yeah, diba? As a performer, at least nakakakanta na ako. Tapos bigla may lalapit sa akin. Yes. Yeah, I really enjoyed your gig. Oh, thank you. Diba? I own a bar in Makati. Diba?
Fudge.
Would you be okay there playing on Thursday nights? Would I get paid? Oh, yeah. Sabi ko, the owner of this bar is my friend. So, tinanong daw niya kung ano yung budget ko doon sa bar na yon. He'll give it to me also. Thursday night, sabi ko, ba? And I was like, okay, what time? Kasi may office ako sa umaga. Oh, no, you'd start at 8, yung finish around mga 11. Kaya.
Double job
yun.
na.
So, bigla,
Double job ka na
oh,
ngayon.
double na. Bigla, bro, nanganak. To the point that I was doing 5-6 gigs a week na and still going to the office.
Can you imagine, no? When you stopped chasing, you attracted it.
Yeah.
Alam mo yung kasabihan na don't chase,
Yeah.
attract. Prior to going to work, only 2 gigs. Hati-hati pa kasi may bande.
Yeah.
Tapos, when you finally gave it up, or so you thought,
This is all solo acoustic. Or,
Yeah.
I had a guy that would play with me sometimes na keyboards.
diba, lumaki pa yung share
Yeah.
ng pie, diba? So tapos, okay, so 5 days, 6 days
I
a
was
week.
exhausted. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
gonna lie. Since I was running on vitamins.
Okay.
Diba? And so I had 5 gigs a night and then I was still going to the office.
Puyat, gising na maaga.
Yeah, ganun, di ba? Still hitting those numbers. Kasi
Okay.
na-hit ko yun ng mga ilan months in a row. To the point na tinanggal nila na yung incentive na yun kasi natatamaan na eh. So, then I remember I got a call offering me a 6th night.
Wow.
Okay, and I was like, wait. Sabi ko, I want to do it. Pero I'm just seeing if I can physically do it. They're like, parang Sunday ng hapon.
Oh my God.
Diba? Parang happy hour, coffee shop. type thing. And I was like, wow, that sounds fun. And by that time, times 5, times 6 na.
Of course.
I mean, which was substantially bigger
Yes.
than yung sahod ko sa office. So I remember talking to my wife, and I said,
so sabi ni Michelle,
I just said, I think I'm gonna resign from the office. Are you sure? Sabi ko, this is what I'm taking home, doing this. But as we know this as musicians, it's the tale's oldest time, 'di ba? Kailan yung next gig? 'Di ba? May stretch ba natin yung TF natin until the next gig?
correct.
'Di ba? And I just said, well, I'm doing okay right now. I'm being offered a 6th night a week.
No manager. At this point,
no manager, because I had been away from the industry
Yeah.
for so long. I was just now doing like
So,
bars.
mga 3 years detached from the industry at this point or 4 years detached?
Okay, let's say that I had left the industry around 2004. mga
Okay.
ganun.
Okay.
Or more or less on and off, mga 2002 to 2004.
Okay.
That was when I went to Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pag-usapan din natin yan.
and then my daughter was born years later in 2011.
Okay.
So, kasi prior to that, I had become a wedding singer. I had done this. I was doing a lot of odd jobs, and just getting by. Pero when my wife got pregnant and eventually gave birth, that was when I said I needed something a little more stable and a little and like I said, tama yung sinabi, hindi ko na hinahanap. All of a sudden,
Dumarating.
lahat dumarating, and so I remember going to my boss in the call center, and I said, "Sir, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for the opportunity, but I think I'm gonna resign." And he's like, I know you play at night. Sabi niya, yeah. Foreigner. Sabi ko, I know you play shows at night or you have a band. I said, no, it's just me on a guitar. He's like, I hate to lose you. I said, well, I said, thank you so much, for the opportunity. And he's like, well, what if we gave you a raise? Would you still resign? So I was naturally, that was flattering. That's flattering. Di ba
Ayaw ka nila pakawalan.
Diba? So I go, wow. And then there's like, you're the guy that hits these numbers. I go, yeah, I just try my best. And then he's like, okay, well, what if I gave you a raise? And I said, may I ask how much? And he said, well, I can offer you this. It was a few thousand more. And I said, thank you so much, but I'd still... my mind is made because how much do you earn? Sabi ko, I'm not gonna say. Sabi ko, but it's different from what you're offering me, and it's bigger, So I said, if you guys,
Humble ka pa naman ito. Huh? You were with humility,
dude. I learned my lesson, So it was a hard lesson. When you're young, you're a hotshot. You think you know everything, diba? You burn bridges, and I did. I really feel I did. I had made. I should have done some things different. I should have agreed to a few more things. You think na never mawawala.
Yeah.
You're on top of the world. You have TV shows. You have this. You're doing concerts. You're doing campus tours. But just like that.
Pong wala na.
And then I was, I felt like I was so far away from the stage. I don't think I'm ever going to step on a stage again. And all of a sudden, we're doing this. So I was,
So with humility, tinurn down mo yung offer ng boss
yeah.
mo. Okay.
I know, and that's where I really feel that I changed as a person. No, kasi yung pinaka lesson na nakuha ko from working with that company, with that corporate job, was I learned, I guess, the structure of how a business is run. Diba? And how the main deal of anything is to satisfy your client.
Yes.
Diba? Satisfy the person that signs your check.
Very different from other artists, no?
And like I said, I've learned so many lessons the hard way. And, parang, kasi I noticed that the bosses are the ones signing the check. It's not even the most important thing na ikaw yung pinakamagaling na singer o pinakamagaling na employee, whatever.
Yeah.
All you have to do is produce results and not give them a headache. Diba?
Done deal.
Diba? Arrive on time, do your job. Diba? So, I never let go of that. And now I had adapted that into my gigs. All right, these little gigs
Yeah.
I was doing in coffee shops and bars. That it's like, okay, now my main concern is that the people are happy, that they're ordering.
Yes.
And then I remember in between sets and after the sets, I would go up to the cashier. Magkano yung,
Thank you.
magkano yung
Magkano
kinita
na?
ng bar? Sir, ganito. And I'm like, is that good? Oh, okay yan for a Wednesday. So I'm like, okay, kasi I put that in my mind that if I can make the bar money, hindi mawawala itong trabaho na to.
Yeah.
Diba?
Kasi ano line item ka on their ledger.
Yeah, diba? It's like,
Yeah.
you're green for them. Hindi ka red eh.
Yes.
Diba? So parang, sabi ko, if I keep doing this, hindi mawawala to.
Yeah.
They will not choose another person.
Parang yung show natin kagabi. Green na green sila. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kusina Filipina,
Thank
for
you to
having us.
Kusina
At
Filipina.
Anjo Productions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for so much fun. So yun, that was basically I had this simple business mindset. Nah, I just have to satisfy those signing my checks. And I said, I'm never going to do anything,
Right.
to, at least I hope, to jeopardize the blessings that are arriving, nung nabigyan ako ng chance
chance,
ulit,
yeah.
second chance.
Galing. Mindset change talaga no? But when you shifted your train of thought or your mindset, dumating dahil all of a sudden ang gaang mo nang dalhin.
Yeah, it was no longer just about kailangan magaling ako, or I have to be the best singer, I have to be the Sabi ko, I just have to make these people laugh. I have to make them sing along.
Doesn't that make you better? Di ba? I think it makes, kasi
Well,
subjective ang pagiging magaling Ano bang?
Well, turo sa akin ng Tito Haji ko.
Okay, go.
Turo sa akin ni Martin Rivera. Whenever I get the chance kasi to see these guys, Sorry.
I know. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm never going to see my uncle again. I can't believe I just said that. Anyway, when he was still around, and when I get to see my other idol, Martin Rivera, or anyone that's come before me, Ding Dong, Ogie, whenever I get to talk to them, they always tell me, there's a difference between being a singer and being a performer or an entertainer.
Amen.
And he says, you last 20, 30, 40, 50 years when you are an entertainer. He's like, the most important thing is it's not even about just you. Don't sing for yourself. Share what you've been given and make others feel good. Martin told me, it's more important that he sees the people smile. And I adapted all of that. And I said, which is why, last night, it's the simplest
Galing.
thing, diba?
Backstreet Boys, baby.
There you go. It's a lot of fun. There are times na if you, that's beneath me or baduyan or masyado kang cool or something like that. It's songs that, that whether at the time you liked it or not, you know it. Diba? You know it. I came from a boy band, so I've always been supportive in particular to boy bands. As long as they're good.
Pero hindi yun isa-set up ko lang for our audience. Watching you perform last night, no, from first row all the way to the people at the back and some people outside. Mind you acoustic guitar or sometimes playback, -1. Kumonekta ka And
Thank you.
as a band, there's that element of a live energy. Ikaw, it's all you. Ikaw lang ang organic factor dun And to have all these people connect to you, that's a big deal.
Thank you. It's my main goal.
You
my
did
main
your
focus.
Haji Alejandro medley. Alam mo yun? Sapuli If you just sang it without any context, you're a singer. Pero last night, I was witnessing that. You were a performer because you were not only singing it, you were living and breathing it.
Thank you. I
Galing.
appreciate that, bro. Coming from you, that means a lot.
Galing.
It's as an entertainer, as a performer, we want every person who paid their hard-earned, honest money to come see us. We want to make sure that they have a good time, and if and ever there was an opportunity to watch again, that they would go again.
Yes.
Diba? That's how you make a fan.
Yes.
That's how you make a follower or a supporter, you know. And ako, I never look at people like, fan lang yan o follower lang yan, because I really, I get to know them if I can. You know, if they're the ones that they'll come up to me. I always encourage people, hey, if you are going to come to watch a show and then you happen to follow me on one of my social media accounts, or you followed my career, say hi. Say hi and tell me, oh, I've been a fan since, if you're a fan since yesterday, that's fine. If you've been a fan since 1995, that's amazing. I just want to show you how grateful I am. It's no longer like, artist ako, fan ka lang, there's a gap between us. No. Let's ako yung mismo magsasabi, you want to take a picture?
Kasi sabi ko nga di ba? And to your point kanina, sinabi mo na ito yung mga taong nagsasign ng check. Like, the way you treated all these showgoers, they bought tickets for our shows. Diba? And you did not disappoint them, and you just did not get off the stage. Nakita pa kita na, lahat ba pa picture dito tayo.
Yeah.
Tapos merchandise, kay Nikki, di ba? Tipong gano'n.
Shout out to Nikki.
Shout out, Nikki. Tapos, di ba, parang inalagaan natin eh.
Yeah. I mean, that's the least we can do.
Yeah.
If I can see the biggest stars, the biggest Philippine stars, and I'm talking huge names, Lea Salonga.
Yes.
Martin, even Sharon Cuneta, diba? Where I see them make sure that every person got a picture. Every person got their program or CD or whatever signed.
Yeah.
Diba? Until everyone's okay, everyone got it. Okay, now we're done. What more am I to think na I shouldn't do that, diba? Or that's beneath me, diba? I'm like I said, I'm just so appreciative. I don't have the biggest social media following, but the cool thing is the people that are there, parang halos kilala ko na lahat eh.
High tech.
As opposed to, I got millions of followers, but I don't know any of them. Diba?
Yeah.
So I mean, I wish I had that many followers, but
parang hirap mag-delete ng tao rito dahil for some reason na-interact ko na yung mga tao.
Parang it's like they know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still very respectful when they send me messages and stuff like that, and I really answer. I reply to comments and stuff like that if I see something. Kung hindi ko nga nabasa, my daughter will always tell me, someone commented, you should probably reply.
Galing.
Yeah, so ganun yung tech and social media savvy yung anak ko. She's the one, Papa, we gotta do something about your TikTok. So I go, okay, let's do
generation
it.
nila yan eh.
Yeah, generation nila. So it's like, okay, what do you think we should do? She's like, I'm gonna make you dance. I'm gonna make you do this. I'm like, okay, whatever it is, game ako,
Okay, so minention mo kanina Japan.
Yeah.
How did Japan factor into your changed persona?
Okay. Japan happened when I had a bit of a disagreement with my management at the time. Okay, and
So paano nagrebelde ka ganun?
no, hindi naman sa ganun. I didn't even want to. It was just that we were not agreeing professionally with and artistically with what I guess I had envisioned for myself and what they wanted to do with me, and I had wanted to create more.
Right.
So
Were you married or single at the time?
I was still single at the time.
Okay.
I was still single. But I remember it's like at that time, it was like all of a sudden na blacklist ako sa lahat. Okay, this is
Lahat sa Pilipinas.
like the major
Para ka
networks.
na-embargo.
Diba?
Alam mo nangyari sa akin yun, ha?
Sucks.
No, I mean, it came at a time when you came. That's why you had to replace me sa Music Bureau.
Okay.
It was like I was riding high. Isa segue ko lang because, and you were very respectful of that time in my life because that was my dark years. Nung time na
I remember we saw each other when I had replaced you.
Yeah.
And I in a way, parang I let you know and I kind of asked for your blessing.
Yeah.
Na bro, trabaho lang to. Diba?
yes.
And I hope it's okay, sabi ko, because I do need this opportunity.
Isip mo, ready, get, set, go. Tinanggal ako, music bureau, tinanggal ako. Tapos, love notes sa Viva Films, which is dapat kami ni Geneva nandun, tinanggal ako. Talagang, ganun din. So, when you mentioned na blacklist ka sa lahat, yeah. Grabe. Okay, go. Anyway, I digress.
So what happened was,
I can really relate.
So na-blacklist ako, parang bigla wala na akong shows, wala akong gigs, yung mga ibang tao ayaw akong kausapin. So I was like, my gosh, wala akong maano, you know, because of this disagreement, this misunderstanding we had. So I was thinking, I need work. Diba? I had a friend, hindi ko nga ka-close. Basta acquaintance lang. Alam mo yun, yung someone, you meet someone, pre, gusto na, diba? They were a show band. Okay, they were a show band. And you know, I was just calling and messaging people that, so kamusta? What are you guys up to? Because sabi nila, mag-audition kami kasi babalik kami sa Japan. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Sabi ko, ako nga, wala nga akong mga show ngayon eh. So literally, that fateful conversation, text message, you know, I remember Nokia pa yung phone ko noon eh.
Uso.
Diba? It was like, ikaw na lang kaya yung mag-singer sa amin sa audition para sa Japan. Sabi ko, oh, okay, paano ba yung
ano ba kalakaran
yeah,
dyan?
how does that go, di ba? Kung pasado tayo, pupunta tayo sa Japan, 3 months tayo or 6 months tayo, doon tayo titira, doon tayo tutugtog tayo every day. So I was like, wow, okay, I don't know, think about it. Pero wala akong ibang choice eh. Wala akong makuhang work.
Yeah.
Diba? So, I was like, subukan natin. Sige. Sabi ko, kailan ang rehearsal nyo? So we had one rehearsal. And, ang gulo ng rehearsal na parang, I guess it wasn't what I was, let's say, maybe used to,
yes,
you know, with my band experiences. This was parang it was another band, mas sila, you know, parang show band variety style thing. So it was very mechanical.
Okay, yeah.
And I was just like, parang ito yung set list.
When you say mechanical, nakakahon na. Kumbaga,
parang ito na yun. You just have to be there, di ba?
Yes.
Parang lahat ng kanta segue, lahat ng ganito, spills are all the same, ganun. Yeah, di ba? Parang tugtog, biyahe, barko, ganun, di ba? So, you know, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. That's just how.
Wait, that's a different kind of discipline.
Yeah, that's just
how
it
do you
is.
make it feel like the first time every day?
You just have to find it. You have to find it and make it genuine.
Yes.
Diba? So, remember, audition ako doon. So we rehearse kami ng band na to. Then, finally, we went to the audition. Nandyan yung mga taga-Japan, yung Japanese, tsaka yung pinaka-promoter.
Mag-aayos
he was a gay fellow who's really, really funny. Okay, so, nandyan na kami. So, nag-audition kami. 3-4 songs. Okay.
Saan kayo nag-audition if you don't mind?
It was in a parang band rehearsal studio sa QC dati.
Okay.
I'm not even sure which
hindi
one
naman yung
it was.
Annapolis, ha?
Hindi.
So
It was parang lumang studio na somewhere in the parang Kamyas Kamuning area.
Oy, alam ko yon. Oh my God.
Hindi Alberto.
Hindi. Parang Henny Sound, parang mga, hindi. Alam ko yung sinasabi mo.
Okay, so.
Okay, good.
Tugtog kami. So, nandiyan may dalawang Japanese and may dalawang So, okay, so, tawag nito,
so,
we did 4 songs. Yung mga kinanta namin, mga Buttercup.
Yeah.
Mga ganon. So, parang, diba, pretty formulaic set list. Okay, so, okay. Nandiyan kami, naghihintay kami sa lobby. And then they said, Nins, can you come here first? So I was like, shit, am I in trouble? Or something like that. Diba? Did I do something wrong?
Sino tumawag sa'yo?
The Filipino promoter called me aside. And then he said, diba, ikaw yung lumalabas sa TV, diba? Sabi ko, yeah? Ba't ka kumakanta sa kanila? Sabi ko, ako na yung singer nila eh.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna, di ko naman nilalaglag yung,
of course,
diba, this new band that got me, that wanted me, diba? But the funny thing was they said, kasi, kinausap ko yung mga Japanese, gusto nila ikaw, pero hindi yung banda.
Oh, man.
So, torn ako.
Right?
Torn ako because, I was like, wow, I don't know what to say.
Una-una, buti sana kung kaibigan mo talaga yung nagaya sa'yo.
Di ba? Yan, kasi kung kaibigan ko talaga.
Magkakaintindihan kayo
Oo, and then he'll support me.
Yeah.
Bro, kunin mo na.
Yeah.
Di ba? Pero, these just acquaintances, di ba? New acquaintances na ako pa nga yung sub. Ako yung sub.
Ikaw na lang yung ito na wala ka akong ginagawa
Di ba? So, and they're like, kasi kung saan nag-o-audition yung banda, yung grupo nyo, it was like parang probinsya sa Japan, yung parang a smaller club with smaller talent fee, ganito. Kasi gusto ko namin ilagay sa bigger city. Gusto namin ilalagay ka namin sa Nagoya.
The bright lights
Parang,
kagad.
Nagoya is one of the biggest cities there,
Right.
di ba? Then very, buhay na buhay yung
Nightlife.
music scene, yung nightlife doon. So,
Di ba ang nightlife sa Japan, minsan hanggang alas 4, hanggang alas 6 ng
dude,
umaga.
yung namin hanggang tanghali.
Ang tugtugan nyo?
Yung iba.
shoot.
Kasi magsa-start kami, mag-open
4.
kami 2 a.m. 2 a.m. Tapos nagko-close kami 10. Tapos kung may tao pa, 12 noon. Ganun yung So, buhay vampira. Buhay vampira. So, they're like, kasi, I mean, kung game ka, ikaw yung papapuntahin namin doon. Hindi yung So,
Did they mention money at this point already?
well, they
Or
said,
or game ka lang? Or what
if you were open to it, then tinanong ko, if you don't mind my asking, ano yung talent fee sa ganito? And then they said, well, we can start you off as a singer.
Solo.
They didn't tell me the definition of the job yet.
Okay.
Singer. Kakanta ako ng 3 sets. 'Di ba? Yung isang set parang 20-30 minutes lang.
Right.
So sabi ko, madali lang yan. Parang if and ever 90 minutes of singing lang for the whole night. But then, 28 nights a week. A month. I'm sorry. 2 days off lang for the whole month. So sabi ko, wow. Kailangan matibay. So, and then ganito yung bayad. And then sagot na namin yung airfare mo at yung
Hotel.
accommodations mo.
Okay.
Hindi siya hotel. Parang bahay.
Hindi rin pad, ha?
Hindi rin pod. Parang maliit na apartment. So, I was like, okay. Kausapin ko lang muna itong banda na nagdala sa akin dito.
Wait, you had to make a decision that same day?
Yeah. Ang ganun. Kasi kung lilipad ka na in 2 days eh.
What?
Oo. Parang ganun. Ganun yung mga ng Japan.
Okay.
So they're like, pirmahan na, papa-approve na kung anong kailangan i-approve. And then lipad na. Kasi kailangan na mag-show. Kinausap ko yung, sabi ko, bro.
Was that a hard conversation?
It was. I mean, I just did it. I felt it had to be done since the decision had to be made na.
So, kumbaga, Band-Aid. Ganun.
Yeah, do it fast. Okay. Do it fast. Sabi ko, bro, And the funny thing is, nung lumapit na ako sa kanya, and then I opened the conversation, he had a feeling that there was something different. Sabi ko, bro, I don't really know how to say this. Sabi ko, hindi tayo pasado? Sabi ko, it's not that eh. Sabi ko, ako lang yung gustong kunin nila. So, I kept saying, I'm sorry. No, okay lang yan. The thing is, they've been doing this for a long time, and alam nila na hindi lahat ng gig matatanggap.
So, kumbaga, walang personalan.
Parang ganun. So, and then he's like, magkikita naman tayo doon sa Japan. We'll see each other at another time.
Pampelikula to, ha?
So I was like, okay, are you sure na walang masamang sa atin? Hindi, okay lang yan. And then I found out, I went to Nagoya, they had went to another city. So I was happy na kahit papano, nakalipad din sila, somewhere else, a few weeks later. And then, so,
With a new singer.
With another singer.
So, parang nagbigay ka lang ng opportunity. Pag tinignan mo, binigyan ka nila ng opportunity, and because of that, nabigyan ng ibang tao ng opportunity.
Something like that. Parang, I like to look at it in a positive light, that it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Diba? So, first time ko.
So, ano nangyari sa'yo?
Okay, so Japan, I'm gonna be a singer. Diba?
Yun ang pagkaalam mo.
I'm parang the celebrity guest na singer. Okay.
Alam ko rin,
Diba?
may idea na yata ako dyan.
So,
Tapos,
pagdating ko doon, may banda na. Yung banda doon, bro, classic rock.
Oy.
As in, tsaka 80s rock.
Now, prior to this, baladir ka.
Balladeer, pop singer,
Yeah.
di ba? Parang, I'll sing kung yung mga top 40.
Yes.
Di ba? I mean, alam ko lahat ng mga 80s na, kinalakihan natin yan.
Right.
I used to have the tapes, I
Correct.
used to have the pinapakinggan ko, pero I'd never
Yes.
attempted to sing. Never ako sumubok kumanta ng Axl Rose. Never ako sumubok kumanta
Bon
ng
Jovi?
Steven Tyler. Bon Jovi is my favorite, but I never tried
Yes.
to sing it.
Kasi iba image mo sa Pilipinas.
Yeah, I mean, it's ano naman, yung packaging sa Pilipinas is different, di ba? Try to make it like a Boy Next Door or whatever, di ba? So never ko nakanta yung mga songs na ganyan. Pero I knew them and I loved them. Finally, this band was like, ito yung setlist namin. Tapos parang hindi sila flexible.
Mataray sila.
Ha?
Mataray.
Mataray na may edad. Pero it's like, prove yourself.
Okay.
They're like, oh, alam namin artista ka.
Okay.
Pero dito sa Japan, iba rin yung tugtugan dito. Iba yung buhay dito. Iba yung, isipin mo, gigig ka 28 times in a month.
Correct.
Diba? So, hindi pwede yung...
Hindi pwede pakit-disiplina
Yes,
talaga.
disiplina to. Tsaka, when you work with the Japanese, it teaches you discipline,
Precision.
focus.
And precision also.
That's what creates efficiency. Diba? So, yeah.
No energy wasted.
Yeah,
no?
diba? Parang let's do. Enjoy later. Work now. Diba? Okay.
So wait. Galing ha. Sorry ha. Na-excite lang ako dahil dito mo pala natutunan yung principles na yan na later on, na-apply mo nga doon sa earlier kwento natin sa BPO.
Yeah.
Okay, go. Okay, continue.
Alright, so, yun, Japan. Talagang,
So, itong banda.
itong
paano
banda
sila?
na to. So, okay. Very sila. Ito yung setlist. So, iniisip ko, shit. Sorry, I'm not enough
Yeah,
to say
you're
shit.
allowed.
Okay,
Yeah.
but, paano ko, hindi ko abot yung mga songs na to. So, and then, ayaw nila magbaba.
Oo.
So, nung una, pinipilit ko falsetto, iniinip ko na parang ganito. Kasi I guess I had, my voice range was like this. It's funny because a lot of people talk about my range now.
Yeah.
Okay. I learned that while I was in Japan. So I remember I was singing and struggling that first week. Tapos, kakanta ka ng 7 days a week na, Diyos ko, Steve Perry yung kakantayin mo, Journey.
Hahanapin mo talaga yung placement, what yung
Diba?
kaya mo.
Tapos,
Yeah.
malat ako that first night.
Oh my God.
I met an American singer there, okay? She had been singing in Japan for a few years now. So, her name was I think Danielle, okay? And she sang at a nearby club, all right? And she also told me that here in the U.S., she was a voice teacher. So I was like, okay. She was like, I would suggest a couple of things, she's like, you don't have to get me as a teacher, but she's like, I could give you a couple of tips for, making your voice last longer. So I was like, yes, please.
At this point, anything.
Yes, diba? She's like, all right, come on, let's meet up. There's a place nearby. It's a music store. Okay? Kasi wala siyang studio, wala siyang we met up in a music store na may piano.
Okay.
All right, and she gave me the simplest yet most effective piece of advice for singing, for expanding your range. If
Okay.
people want to know how I did it, this is what
At
happened.
saka duration.
Yeah.
Endurance pa. Di ba lang
Yeah.
yeah, endurance.
So parang we did, we did the scales. She wanted to see what my range was.
Hanggang pinakamataas mo,
Yeah.
pinakamababa
And
mo.
parang I felt I was weak. It was just like, you have to strengthen that. You have to do this. Now, ito yun, this is the most genius, and I love her for it. She says, I want you to imagine your voice, your instrument, as a muscle. No, I was like, okay. She's like, you go to the gym at the time. Yeah, nag-gym ako. Okay. She's like, okay, if you have to lift a weight, let's say you want to lift 100 pounds, but you're only used to lifting 50 or 60, but you want to lift 100. Okay. She's like, try it. So I remember it's like, you can only hit up to G, but you want to go up to
High
D,
C or,
whatever,
yeah.
high C. Diba? So I was trying it, straining, hindi ko abot. Then she's like, okay, if you want to hit C, okay, I want you to aim for D.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. She's like, because what is when you're in the gym and you want to lift 100,
Yeah.
go for 110, 120.
Yeah.
Struggle with trying to lift 120.
Shit, okay yun.
So talagang,
Yeah.
the same thing. I sounded terrible. Okay, and then, what are we doing? Sabi ko, this is just destroying my voice. She's like, no, Because now, when you go back down to where you want to be, it all of a sudden doesn't feel like you're straining for the overkill.
Pero tinuruan ka ba niya ng mga paano mo ilalabas?
Yeah.
Okay.
She taught me, like what I had been shown by other teachers
Right.
about the
Right.
diaphragm
Yeah.
support, this, but what she had told me nga
Yung
is,
yung, again, mindset na naman,
yeah,
di ba?
diba? It's like, in order to hit this note, you have to aim above it. That way, when you slip and fall, you land where you need to be. Sabi ko, oh my God, that concept explains everything. So I remember it was just like, okay, cool. I can only hit G. And then she's like, first and foremost, you shouldn't be aiming for C yet. You need to hit G sharp. Diba? If G
Yeah.
is your highest, we gotta aim for G sharp. And the way to hit...
Yun ang traditional way of...
So it was like, go for A kagad. So strain ako ng strain sa A. Bigla nung binaba ko half step to G sharp, which hindi ko abot dati, I could hit it. Now it was shaky, pero lumalabas yung note.
Yeah.
So sabi ko, wow. So she's like, practice that for a week. So it's just here, G sharp. I had a tiny little Casio keyboard,
Yeah.
yung ganon. So just trying to hit that. All of a sudden, I'm able to hit. Bigla G sharp na ako. Yeah, bigla G sharp na ako. Okay. And then the next week, she was like, go for A. Go for A. So wow, ambitious. So
Time out, ha? Tumutugtog ka gabi-gabi, ha?
Yeah.
Habang ginagawa niyo tong training.
yeah,
na to.
when in the daytime, I wouldn't meet with her all the time. She would just tell me
Yeah.
things and stuff like that. Kasi may mga gigs din siya. Eh. So, but she would say, hey, try do this. And I'd tell her, I was able to do it and I was able to hit A. Oh, good. Until finally, that 3 months I was there, na-stretch ko from G to C. Yung range ko. So I was like, wow.
Ano sabi ng banda?
Go sila, na parang yan. Diba? They're like, we knew you had it in you. Parang you just have to try harder. And I said, okay, I'll take that. I won't fight with you guys about that. Kasi every night, parang pinagtutulungan nyo. Parang you guys were ganging up on me. Diba? Okay. So, bigla, yun, abot ko na. And then, by the 3rd, 4th week, nakakakanta na ako ng, not every song, pero yung mga ibang songs na parang subukan nga natin yung Mr. Big na yan, subukan nga natin yung ganito.
Wow.
And then it's like, wow, I just need to practice it, pero abot ko na.
Pati mga To Be With You.
Yes, in the original key.
Wow.
So sabi ko, wow, I could never do this before. Pero ngayon, abot ko na. Because of this parang weightlifting exercise na metaphor. Just aim for something bigger or heavier.
Alam mo, we have to really go through those boot camps in our lives. Share ko lang, no? I remember I was at Roxbury sa Pasong Tama Extension, I think. And kasama ko si Raymond Marasigan ng Eraserheads. So andun sina Mar Dizon, sina Elmer Saison. We would go there with a pair of drumsticks. Feeling namin makikijam kami with the seniors. And then si Mar Dizon, Senior Mar Dizon, one of the best drummers in the
Of course, I
Philippines.
know. I know Kuya Mar.
Sat us down. But I will never forget what he said. Sabi niya, yung respeto, mahirap kayong respetuhin kayong dalawa. Ganon talaga sinabi niya sa amin, dalawa ni Raymond, ha? And then he showed me his palm. Sabi niya, lahat ng musicians na nakikita mo dito, Casey Saison, Elmer Saison, kaming lahat kami kimlasakan, dumaan kami dyan. 5 steps. Nag-practice kami. Nag-audition kami. Lahat ginawa namin. Nagpuyat kami. Nag-active listening. Kayo sumikat lang kayo eh. Wala pa kayong muscle. You know what? Feeling ko tumatak sa amin ni Raymond Marasigan yan because when I had Raymond here, the one thing that we noticed of each other and what I noticed also of you is we have battle scars now.
Yes.
Nung dumating ka sa industriya, the same way, nung Intro Voice Eraserheads pumatok sa industriya, tayo tatlo wala tayong mga battle scars. We had to go through the challenges we had to go through to be able to have conversations like this. Agree?
Yes, definitely. I mean, diba? Like I said, we have to go through the fire.
Yeah.
Diba? In order for us para tumibay.
Kailangan eh, no? So, 3 months mo lang ginawa yun.
Yeah, for that first Japan.
Kasi 2 years.
Yeah, and then because what would happen is at that time so I would go 3 months, uwi akong Pinas 1 month.
So
Balik ako ulit.
nakaka-addict ba?
Ha?
Ang Japan nakaka-addict.
Yeah.
Because
In this I mean ganito, stress yung trabaho. Okay, because ako I don't ever deny this. Pero I started off there as a singer. Okay, singer. And I eventually asked if I could also work as a hosto. Okay? I mean, that has
explain that to ako alam ko ano yung host.
There's a stigma to that word because they think na may mali siya yun or something like that. It just basically means you're an entertainer in the club.
On stage and off stage.
On stage and off stage. You know, you converse with the guests. You drink with the guests. You know, but that's really it. We just entertain them. You know, there's no hanky-panky involved. That's not how things work in Japan. You know, you go there, you know, you just entertain them, show them a good time, make them feel, you know, important.
Yeah.
Diba? Because that's all anybody wants sometimes. Kasi in Japan, there are times na yung buong araw wala kang kinausap na tao kahit isa. You know, and then all of a sudden someone will speak to you. Diba? It doesn't matter whether it's a man, woman, anything like that. It's just have a beer with me or have a whiskey with me. And then
unwind lang ba? Pagtanggal. Be my sounding board or just have a conversation.
diba?
And you get paid for that.
Yeah, that's what it is, you know. So, you know, I asked if I could work as hosto, and then they're like, no, you know, yung kontrata mo is just as a singer. Yun yung alam ng promoter mo sa Pilipinas. It's funny. I said, don't tell him. Kasi wala pang social media
wait,
nito
at this point, nag-Japanese, nagdinihongo ka na, hindi ba?
I know. I studied it in school and I could speak a little bit. Pero I became more proficient the longer I stayed there. Kasi honestly, what you learn in a book is not what you're going to use.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. There's a meme now, di ba? Uso ngayon yung Duolingo.
Yeah.
Di ba? And it's funny. I always tease my wife about it. Kasi she's a big K-pop BTS fan. So yung Duolingo niya is Korean, di ba? And then I saw a meme just the other day where it's like, Duolingo, you have a 762-day streak, but you still don't know how to speak. You know, I tease her, you know, pero you know, it makes her happy, so okay lang. But it's like, you know, alam mo yung mga ganun, di ba? Kasi yung Duolingo, may streak yun di ba? It's like you have to learn all these things, pero after 732 days, you'll be like, oh, sige nga, mag-speak ka nga. You know, what di ba?
Si Cassidy, my daughter, Korean din yung Duolingo niya.
Di ba? And it's like, oh, sige nga, mag-speak ka nga. And then, you know, they can't really put together a full sentence. And you're like, okay. You know, iba naman talaga, I guess, with me and my experience in Japan, yung iba yung hinagis ka na lang dun and then you have to fend for your life and understand.
That's another thing.
Now kasi in 2025, I go to Japan 3-4 times a year. You know, it's for vacation at the same time. Nagkakaroon ako mga projects and stuff dun.
And you've made friends.
Oh, yes. And the good thing is now in Japan, for all the people like Kenneth who are gonna go to Japan, more people speak English now.
Oh, that's nice.
Unlike, you know, 20 years ago, where it's like, hindi, Nihongo lang. And you're just like, oh my gosh. Ngayon, may instructions na katabi ng Nihongo ng English. You're like, okay. You know, so at least, and then if you go into a store, one of the people there will speak English. Kasi you'll try, ay, sumimasen, Nihongo, wakaranay, no, it's okay, I speak English. Oh, thank God.
you.
Diba? You know, so, ganun yung, sa Japan. Ako naman, simply put, the discipline, the focus that my bosses, you know, the mamas and the papas there that are the ones that are in charge of us, the discipline, it's very, we don't do things late. We don't do things half-hearted, you know, because they're like, if you're going to do it half-hearted, you deserve half pay, you know? So parang go out there, do the best. You represent this club. You represent this, you know, so at the time, there was no social media yet or anything like that. So I just said, let's not tell my promoter that I do these other things.
Yeah.
I work as a hosto in addition to being a singer. But I will, you know, yung binigay ko pa rin yung commission.
Yung commission,
As a singer.
Yes.
Yeah, as a singer.
Yung host part, sa'yo na yun.
Akin na yun. So, I mean, that was just, you know, you get tips for entertaining. diba? For cheers, kahit hindi tipping culture ang Japan, when they'll be like, oh, that's for you for entertaining. Thank you. So, okay, I really enjoyed that experience. Coming back to Manila after 2.5 years, that's when I guess I never really got back into the industry.
Maybe that was for the best.
I think so, because shortly after that, I met Michelle. Initially we were just like, dude, ang luma namin. We met on, naalala mo yung social media
Friendster.
Hindi
Multiply.
Multiply. We met on Multiply. All right, as in friend siya ng friend ko. Nung stalker ko yung
nakikita
page
sa
ng
Multiply,
nakikita yung friends niya ng friend mo. And I remember I was like, she's really cute. Diba? So it's funny kasi sa Multiply lang ang I don't know if you remember this. It shows what your relationship is.
Yes.
So I remember minessage ko or inad ko si Michelle without ever meeting her. And then I said, hey, I'm so-and-so's friend, mutual friend. I hope you don't mind that I introduced myself and I'm trying to add you. So she's like, no, it's okay. Yeah. And then, pero kasi yung status ng relationship namin, online buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, they make ganun eh.
Yeah.
May ganun yung Multiply.
Yeah.
Hindi mo kilala, ano kayo, online
yes,
buddy.
yes.
Diba? So, okay. So, I had a cute online buddy. Diba? Diba? So, I'd be like, oh, ang cute niya. Oh, look, she likes to, kung ano yung mga activities na ginagawa nila. Okay. So, and then I remember I got invited to sing for a birthday party. I got invited to a friend of mine. He was like, oh, yeah, I'm singing, come sing for my kasi he likes the fact that I was singing. Kasi pag uwi ko ng galing Japan, I vowed I'm not going to be a pop artist the way maybe I was before.
Right.
I said, after 2.5 years, I really felt that I found my voice.
Yeah.
In Japan.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no. I mean, because ganito, when we're young, we like the songs we like, diba? And the mistake of a lot of young aspiring artists is you tend to try to sing the songs you like to hear. Even though minsan hindi bagay sa'yo. Like, I grew up listening to all kinds of stuff, from Elvis to the Beatles to Michael Jackson, to groups like Guns N' Roses and, New Kids on the Block, because my sisters love New Kids on the Block. And so I had such a wide range. And at the time, ano yung mga uso at the time? Early 90s, Boys to Men.
Yep.
Diba? I remember, it's like when they came onto the scene, no one sounded like that. No one, diba? I was just like, oh my God, anong klaseng kulot nun, diba? Parang it's just nothing like we had heard. So I wanted to sound like Boys to Men. And then like Brian McKnight. Diba? One of the best voices in my opinion, Brian McKnight. So I wanted to sing like Brian McKnight. The thing is, I don't sound like a black guy. I sound like a white guy. And Japan taught me that.
To embrace how you
embrace
sound.
what you sound like. So nung tanggap ko na that I don't sound like Brian McKnight, I sound like Brian Adams.
Right.
Diba? And I just think that's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
So I said, I just have to find the songs that suit my voice. I'm talking about covers.
Yes.
Diba? So it's like, yung naka-discover ka nga ng Brian Adams, Bon Jovi, Steven Tyler, Steve Perry, Mr. Big. And so I was like, wow, it's a whole list of amazing songs. It's no longer the stuff that maybe I was trying to sing when I was younger.
The perception mo sa sarili mo, kundi, okay, yung boses ko parang ganito. Like in my case, pang Rod Stewart ako dahil because of the husky voice.
Yeah, it's what it is, I mean, it might not have necessarily been what you had in mind when you started, diba? But when you hear it, kapag narinig ko yung boses ko on a recording, and I'm just like, I sound like a white guy, So Nung tanggap ko na yun, sabi ko that's the type of music or genre na suited sa boses na binigay sa akin. Diba?
Alam mo yung mga revelation mo sa sarili mo has led you to being an effective producer.
I think so, yes.
Because instead of becoming subjective, naging objective ka. Subjective is, ito ang gusto ko, ito ang sa tingin kong ako, kahit hindi yun yung ikaw. Objective is realizing na,
this is what I am. Yeah.
And when you become objective of yourself, it's easier for you to pass that on to other people and be objective of them. Because alam mo yung bias mo is in check already.
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
all the artists
kaya
that I
effective,
produce.
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I always tell them, I'll listen to them. Then I'll be like, what do you see yourself as? I sabi ko, I hate...
So ginaganon mo
Yeah,
muna.
kailangan eh. Kailangan. I mean, not all artists, especially the young aspiring ones, want to hear that they're similar to someone else.
Yes.
You
Feeling
know.
nila I'm unique.
I mean, what do you call it? I always tell them, on a scale, there's only 13 notes. Diba? And every note has been played.
Correct.
You know? Every sequence has been discovered, used
Yup.
in something. I
Yup.
said it's just a matter of taking something, tweaking it, and making it sound fresh again.
Yep.
You know, parang that's so bluntly put, but it's true.
Yes.
Diba? I mean, and then what happens is that the generation that hears this newly, tweaked style, it's new to them. Diba? Like I remember, like my daughter Bella, who's 14 now, but a few years ago, I guess when Bruno Mars did that group Silk Sonic,
Yeah.
diba? Silk Sonic. I love Bruno Mars and I love Silk Sonic. The moment I heard that "Leave the Door Open" song, okay, so young people were like,
bago.
"Oh my God, bago to diba? This is so cool. It's so suave. It's so
Yeah.
smooth. It's like velvet, diba?" The moment I heard it, I was like, stylistics,
Yes.
the Delphis, all these
Yes.
old Motown soul groups. Because I was like, look at how Bruno Mars is
Performs.
dressed, diba?
And then, yeah, oh yeah.
Diba?
Yes.
These suits na may bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Sabi ko, that's all
Yeah.
how all the 70s
Yeah.
soul singers used to dress, diba? I look when I hear it, it's the stylistics to me, diba? That's yung mga break, yung mga fill, yung mga everything, even the keyboards that they
Correct.
use. It's an old sound from 40, 50 years ago.
Correct.
Diba? Just, polished in a different way, presented to to people that were born after a certain year, and it's completely fresh. to them.
Repackaged.
Diba?
Yeah.
Diba? It's like Bruno Mars and Silk Sonic, that's new. And I'm like, okay, it's new to you guys. But I said, if I hear it, or hell, even if your grandparents hear it, my parents, they'll be like, that's 1970s. But that's the sound of the 70s. And then it's just recycled and given a new life, into it. So it's just, I always tell artists, I hear your demo, blah blah blah. Who do you think you sound like? Oh no, I want to sound like me. I understand that, but but who do you sound like? Because I'll be like, because I think you sound like this person. Yeah, I've been told that before. And I said, that's not a bad thing. I said, it gives us a starting point.
Peg.
Yeah, it's not, this is not what we're going to turn you into.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we know what we're working with.
Yes.
Because I said it's always important to sing what's suited to you.
Yeah.
Diba? Because there's nothing worse than listening or watching someone na pinipilit, ang circular peg into a
It's a
square
square
hole.
hole.
Diba?
Yeah.
That's, diba? It's, and you see them because I'll see people in the studio. Let's say maybe I'm not the one producing them, but I'm sitting in on the session, and you can see them, hit the same wrong note, let's say every time in the same line, the same word.
Yeah.
And you're watching, and ako yung na-frustrate sometimes, be like, and I'm like, okay, why isn't he doing something to correct it? Or why isn't the producer calling it out? Ganito. It didn't sound good. But there always has to be a solution, and I'll be like, it's because you're doing it this way.
Correct.
Or parang this is how you should attack it. Diba? Or, heck, hindi mo abot, I'm gonna teach you a weightlifting exercise, diba? I've done that before.
Yeah.
I remember one time there was this band that was, I wasn't producing them. Ako yung tech.
Okay.
But they were doing it in my studio.
Okay.
And they wanted to make a demo. Yeah, we want to make a demo. Yeah, so these three mga halfsies mga tisoy, 'di ba? Puro mga international school na okay, gusto nila magano. Nagkataon that I knew one of their parents. So they're like, "Oh, maybe you can record my son and his band." Okay, so sabi ko, kung may bayad naman, 'di ba? Okay, may bayad. Okay. So you see them and then they're recording and I think naman kids that when you're starting off, I think you have to suck.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, that's what.
Kailangan.
Yeah, Dave Grohl says that.
Yes.
He's like, no band comes together and kicks ass on day one.
No.
He's like, he was saying, when we were Nirvana, we sucked.
Yeah.
We had to become this, and I totally agree. So when I was listening to this band, okay, they're still a little raw and everything like that. But I guess I can kind of see what they want to do with this song they wrote. Okay. So, yung singer nila, puro forma Forma. And I was like, in my mind, sabi ko, talent or over forma any day. Diba? Pero ang kanya talagang naka-shades.
Swag.
Diba? Naka-shade siya sa loob ng studio. Dilim sa loob ng studio, pero naka-shade siya. Diba? Tapos, ayaw niyang gamitin yung AKG headphones ko.
Saan gusto niya gamitin?
Gusto niya gamitin yung galing Tiangge na peke Beats na headphones niya.
BITZ.
Yeah, Beats. So I was like, kasi cool daw tignan dun sa selfie or whatever, diba? So I said, I don't care. Go ahead, use what you want, diba? So we were doing it. Bro, flat siya. As in, wala siya sa tono. Okay? And it's not like, okay siya, then yung isang high note, medyo flat siya. Hindi. Wala siya sa tono.
Kumbaga ito yung key.
Yeah, alam mo yun kung sa Guitar Hero, dito siya sa ilalim. Okay? So ako, tahimik lang ako. Because I never really put you down. Diba? I'll just try to be constructive and find a way to make it, paulit-ulit. Kasi it's like, sorry, can I do that again? Can I do, one more. But he'll do it exactly the same again. Can I do that again? Sabi, wala naman pinagbabago. It's that same thing that you're doing. Wala talaga sa tono. So, break. Let's take a break. Okay. So ako, the other two members were there. Yung isang guy stepped out. Nilabas ko yung auto-tune. Okay? So, ilabas ko lang. Okay? I was just kinda like, okay, just for the sake of the ayusin lang natin. Let's see what we can do. Because I want to see how it's supposed to sound. So all of a sudden, hey man, excuse me, can we not use auto-tune? So ako naman, sagot ko, hey man, can you sing it in tune? If you can sing it in tune, I'll take this off. Tahimik sila. Sabi ko, I've been doing this for a little while, and my job is to make you sound the best you can. And I said, I'm just trying to help this thing out because your singer is a little frustrated with not being able to hit this part. So I said, I brought this out just in case, but if he can sing it in tune, I'll put it away. Tahimik sila, and just, like I said, ako, my as a producer is if it's say I'm with you or the artist in the studio. It's just us. Or minsan there's 2 or 3 people.
Wag na tayo magkahiyaan dyan.
Diba? Yeah. And it's like, sabi ko, okay, ang tigas ng accent mo. Diba? Your P's and your
F.
And your F, nagkakabaliktad. Yeah. Diba? But I said, my job is here to make you sound your best.
Yes.
Okay lang na mapahiya ka sa isang tao.
Yeah. Kasi yung kapalit doon,
i-release natin na ganyan, na hindi kita sinita. I-release natin. Everyone will hear that and talk about you.
Correct.
Sabi ko, as opposed to you being embarrassed to one person who actually cares about how you sound. So just, lots of adventures.
Okay.
Working with different artists.
Ito na, ita-tie down ko na to.
Go.
Ilalanding na natin. So bakit mo pinasok ang The Voice?
I had a feeling we were gonna get here eventually. Okay.
Pero galing, di ba?
Yeah.
So, tinanong ko, tapos pinalikan natin yung context, and then which led to this.
Okay. The Voice was in 2014.
Okay.
Okay. this came at the time na nag-resign ako sa corporate job ko because
Yes.
I was gigging 6 nights a week. And I was happy just being like an underground artist na all of a sudden where I'm just singing classic rock tunes acoustically. So that's all we're doing. Singing Poison,
Yeah.
Warrant,
Yeah.
Nelson. These are our songs. So I remember I was doing these gigs and it was going well. Few months after I resigned, I'm in the grocery. There's a BF, okay? And I run into someone, okay? I run into a writer from ABS-CBN, okay? I'm not sure if you know her. Her name is Garlic Garcia.
No.
Okay, all right. Anyway. And she's like, Nins, kamusta? Long time no see. Hi, how are you? Long time. She used to watch my gigs, all right, before. And she's like, I'm like, oh, you still writing with ABS? I'm writing for The Voice. Oh, that's great. She's like, are you familiar with it? Sabi ko, I watched the US version.
Yeah.
Sabi ko, I became a fan of the US version. She's like, oh, magsi-season 2 na yung Philippines. Sabi ko, yeah, yung isang friend ko dati nag-audition. Okay. So you're familiar. Sabi ko, yeah. Why don't you audition? I know, wala naman mawawala. She's like, you were a singer from the 90s, into the early 2000s.
Just saying, dalawang masakit na nawala kagad. Una-una, pinag-audition mo ako. Ibig sabihin, kailangan ko patunayan at sarili ko. Pangalawa, ba't sinasabi mo walang mawawala? Ibig sabihin, wala ba ako napala dati, kaya walang mawawala. Anyway.
That's exactly the things that were going on in my head,
Oh,
bro.
shoot. Okay.
Okay? Kasi,
Parang mo ako sinampal ng dalawang beses. But anyway.
yeah, well, I mean, that is what I was feeling at the time. I mean, I was a fan of the show. And then what I liked about the show is that kahit lumang singer ka na dati,
Yeah.
you can still audition. Unlike shows like American Idol and stuff na kung na-sign ka na, kung
Wala
na-release
na.
ka na, you have no chance. You have to solely be an amateur singer. But The Voice, it's like basta nakatalikod sila, if they like what they hear, they'll turn. Okay? So I was like, okay, thank you for the, I'll think about it. Pero I'm not sure if it's for me. All right? Also at this time, I was also about 40 pounds heavier. Okay? Maybe even more. Okay? So I was a little conscious about that because in the 90s, I guess we had looked a certain way. Diba? And, parang I didn't want that to become an issue or anything like that. Kasi airpods na, medyo napabayaan, So, parang that was also in my head. But more importantly than that I was like, okay, I see so many people on The Voice USA that I think, marunong kumanta, magaling, pero walang umikot. And you're just like, that's terrifying. And then sabi ko, that's facing reality. Na parang, I don't think you're good, or I don't think you're good enough, or, try again. And I was just thinking, if I did this and walang umikot, does that mean I made the wrong choice in life?
Ooh.
Sabi ko na, because at the time, Voice, it was Bamboo, Apple de App, Sarah Geronimo, and Lea Salonga. So I was like, I sing like 80s classic rock now, and that I feel is what is suited for my voice. I don't know kung matitripan nila yon. I don't know kung masasakyan nila yon. And what I said, what if they just don't like it? I said, I don't know if I could live with that.
Correct.
So I was thinking maybe I should. I admit it. I was scared. I was flat out terrified. That maybe I might not be good enough. And just the thought of that, I'd feel like I was a failure. When I feel, you feel that you had failed at other things in life. Now, wag naman sana music.
And then at this point, di ba, parang dun ka parang nag-gain ng momentum na having confidence with yourself, 6 gigs a day.
It's just,
6
it's,
gigs a week.
So parang it's like, okay, I have this little pond, na that I'm doing okay naman with this. I can live with this. Sure, that would be great, to be The Voice, to be back in the limelight, back in the mainstream.
So what pushed you?
a talk with my wife.
I had a feeling.
I talk with my wife, talk with my Tito Haji, talk with my parents. And my wife says, we know that, that you're going to do your best for your family, for us. You're going to work the corporate job. You're going to do these little underground bar gigs. But you're like, but we know that deep down inside of you, part of you still wants to be in the spotlight, even if it for was like one last time.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I don't feel my best. I know I don't look my best. I don't know if I can do this. So she said, then my wife said, just do it one last time. If something good happens, then that's amazing. But if not, if let's say no one turns, you went out there, if you can honestly say you did your best, be proud of that. She'll be proud of me though. And then we can go off into the sunlight, into the sunset and just live with whatever's there.
Exactly.
Maybe put the dream of making a real comeback, on the shelf na, on the back seat na, and just, accept na lang na this is what I do na lang.
Yeah.
We'll do these gigs, we're going to do this ganito. So, tapos actually doing the preliminary auditions was an adventure then, because they're like, okay, punta ka sa ABS. Yeah, punta ka sa So I had my guitar, and they're like, sing us a song. So I sang Highway to Hell, by AC/DC.
Mga made in Japan mo yan.
Yeah, mga Japan songs yun, di ba? Because now I can do it now, and then I guess I had become a fan kasi of the US version of The Voice. When we would always, like my wife and I love to watch TV shows while we have dinner and stuff like that. So then we always talk about it. They're like, di ba kaya sila napapagod? Di ba naano yung mga tenga nila? And we're like, I'm sure, di ba? And then we always noticed that if there was something different, refreshing,
Napapauwi.
parang, uy, ano yun, di ba? Or just, kasi it was like, yung mga usong kanta at the time, John Legend, All of Me, or Adele, di ba? Rolling in the Deep, or whatever. Great songs.
Yeah.
But these coaches have heard it
Desensitized na sila.
diba, 1,000 times today, because that's what everyone wants. That, yun yung uso eh. So, when I was like, I'm going to do something different. I'm hopefully, here in the Voice of the Philippines, this has never been sung yet. Diba? Then they were like, Highway to Hell. Okay, this is not the coaches yet. These are like just production people, that are at the table. So, and the acoustic guitar lang ako. I'm probably the only one that ever really forces the issue with singing AC/DC on an acoustic guitar. So yeah, we did it, and then they were like, okay, thank you. So yeah, alis ako, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, were they supposed to tell me anything, or are they supposed to give me anything? Sabi ko, was I not good?
The golden ticket.
Yeah, or the equivalent, diba, of that, diba? Na hey, busy ka ba next week, diba? Kasi next week na kami magta-taping or something. Wala. So I was just walking back to the car. Diba? Oh my God, sabi ko, I think I messed that up. Did I suck or anything like that? Then I got a message. Got a message from the coordinator. Thank you so much for auditioning, in order to make it to the blind auditions, it requires a unanimous 4 votes. You only received 3. So thank you. Perhaps next time. Okay, so I felt like part of me died. Okay, sabi ko, it's not even the blind audition mismo that the coaches rejected me. These were like the production assistants and the PAs and the other production people that said no. I didn't win their votes. So I just told my wife, I don't want to do this anymore. And that was one of the times that I had considered hanging it up.
Sakit.
I was like, I'll just finish what commitments I have, and parang I think I want to go back to the States.
Yeah.
I think we should go try it there fresh start. Sabi ko, because I feel that there's parang by doing that, mas naramdaman ko na wala na akong karapatan to be on that stage. So, sama ng loob ko talaga. I told my wife that, told my Tito Haji that, even told Rachel that. They were all sad, trying to comfort me. They're like, it's just a show. And I said, yeah, but sabi ko, I guess I wanted to feel that even if I didn't go far, sana umabot man lang ako doon.
Huwag naman yung sa starting line pa lang,
diba? Parang nagong ako kagad. So I was like, sana naman, with everything, all the years I've spent doing this, the decades I've spent doing this, sana I'd gotten at least a little farther.
Correct.
Diba? Even if I'd gotten eliminated eventually. Diba? Na I'm not even worthy enough to walk in the door. Diba? So okay. Sama ng loob ko talaga. And I remember we had a show. We had a provincial show. So we went to the show, did the show. It's okay. All of a sudden, ready na ako. I was like, I don't know, maybe in the next few months, let's go. And I haven't really told a lot of people this. This is where I'm revealing this for the first time, man.
Thank you.
Diba? And all of a sudden, I got a call. All of a sudden,
From?
The production of The Voice.
Si Garlic.
No, it wasn't her.
Okay.
Just the coordinators again.
All right.
And then they said, after reviewing your tapes and stuff like that, bago ang isip, you have 4.
Wow.
You have 4 votes na, and you're gonna be invited to perform in the blind auditions of The Voice of the Philippines.
Wow.
It's funny because I was like, why didn't they tell me this last week? I think for a week I was dying.
Pero again, to my point about you, when you don't chase, you attract.
Yeah.
Tingnan mo, di ba?
I
Isipin
guess,
mo.
I mean, I was pretty down.
Because diba? You were down and you said, fuck this shit. I'll be leaving. I'll be gone in a few months. Wala ka naman tinawagan. Hindi ka naman nangulit na baka pwede
No,
nyo.
I never did that.
Bigla lang out of the blue.
No, kasi ako, whether it's friendship, whether it's
Whatever.
work,
You don't
whether
force
it's
it.
relationship or love, if you tell me no, I'll accept that as what you mean and want.
You don't force anything.
No, I'll be like, no, which is why I always say in a relationship, in a marriage, be careful what you say.
Correct.
Because if you're mad, don't be like, hiwalay na lang tayo, or something like that. Because that has a meaning na you don't want to be with this person anymore. I'd rather say, I'm just so mad at you.
Yeah, period.
Period.
Yeah.
Because so many people have it's like the quickest reflex is just, let's just break up.
Yeah.
This isn't working. Diba? I don't want to be with you anymore. And you'll be like, what? Because of this trivial thing or something like that. And like I said, I would rather take it na galit ako sa'yo.
Right.
You really messed this
And
up.
then bring it down, temperature.
Diba? And
this
then
up,
once you get there, you can talk it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, careful what you say because you may get it.
Yeah.
Diba?
Oh, so anyway, tumawag sila. Tapos, ano nangyari?
Initially I was like, okay, of course I'll take it. Of course I'll take it. I said, I didn't think you guys were going to call, but I said, I'm going to put pride, ego, and anything, away and say, this is the opportunity. I said, it may not have walked in through the front door, but it's here for me to take or not. And, I'm going to take it. I'm going to show up at the taping for the blind auditions.
Tapos, how far did you go?
Well, after the blind, we made it onto the blind auditions, 4 chairs turned.
This is on YouTube, right?
It's all on YouTube.
Okay.
It's all on YouTube. Going on
Para
3
panoorin
million
nyo.
views.
Yeah.
Right. I sang Highway to Hell again. All right. I got all the 4 coaches to turn Lea Salonga after 2 words. After living easy, boom. She, first one to turn.
She didn't know it was you.
Not initially. I mean, okay, I also want to clear up a common misconception. Prior to The Voice, hindi kami magkaibigan ni Lea. Hindi kami close. Okay? She knows my Tito Haji.
Yeah.
She knows Rachel, but we're not close.
Yeah.
Diba? I mean, if we see each other, acquaintances,
Hi.
hello. And the only time I had ever seen her was we attended the same alma mater. Okay, we both went to OB Montessori. All right. But she's 5 years older than I am.
Right.
And by the time I had been studying at OB, she was already Miss Saigon.
Yes.
She was already the Tony winner.
Yes.
She was Lea Salonga, all right, doing Les Mis. She was coming home to Manila to do an alumni homecoming concert. And then like kami yung school choir, parang iba-back up namin siya habang kumakanta siya ng A Whole New World. But that was the first time I had seen her. This was 1993, okay? I hadn't really started my career yet. I literally asked to have a picture with her. And she said, yeah. That was all she said. Can I have a picture? Can I have a picture with you? Yeah. That's it. That's the only interaction we ever had.
And then fast forward to 2014.
Yeah, 2014. I mean, when Facebook had come out, I was actually more friends with her brother Gerard.
Yeah.
All right, because we had common friends, and I just had met him, and then we had gotten along. He's a really nice guy. So what I do is, it's like, I know this is a long shot, but I'm going to add her as a friend and see if she accepts it. And by that time, I was already a singer. I was already an actor in Manila, but we had never encountered each other. So the common misconception na tropa pips kami is not true. Since The Voice, she and I have become very good friends. It's one of those things where I feel very blessed now. One of my idols has become one
Galing.
of my friends.
So 2 words, bam, siya unang...
Yeah. As in, I think she realized who I was mid-song now.
Okay.
Because you can see it on the video.
Okay.
She's like, oh my God, I know who this is.
We'll post the link.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then eventually Sarah, Apple, and then eventually Bamboo turned. Right? And I got the four coaches, the 4 chairs turned, and then it's like you got to decide. Lahat sila nagpipitch. On my team, we're gonna do this. Oh, this is what we're gonna do. Blah blah blah. I'm the best coach for you, kasi
So sino pinili mo?
I chose Lea Salonga. All right.
Best decision?
I think so for me, yes, definitely. Because I got more than just a coach. I got a friend, a mentor, someone who will defend me, someone who I'll defend. She's so real, she's very special. She's unlike any other. She's a very, very dear friend. Up to this day, where it's been 11 years since that blind audition, up to this day, she mentors me. If she's in New York and I'm in Manila or Tokyo or wherever I am, and I'm writing a song, and I'll mention it to her. Hey, I'm working on something. I'm writing a song. Oh, let me hear it. Send it to me. Diba? So she'll hear it and I'll be like, what you think? Oh, I like this part, but bigla magko-coach siya. I think this part, in order to let it soar more, do this. So she'll do voice
Oh my
notes.
God.
So I have voice notes of Lea Salonga singing
Galing.
my raw ass
Galing.
compositions,
Galing.
thinking this might be better. And I saved these because these are treasures to me, and then she's like, let me hear it when you're done. So it isn't really, she cares, she gives a shit, to all the members of Team
Right,
Lea.
right.
All to different extents, and like I said, I'm so happy and honored to call her my friend. Our families get along very well. Really, really good stuff. And then she was the one, because I got eliminated. I was in the top, I think top 6 or top 7 before I eventually got voted off.
Pero at that point, it doesn't matter anymore.
That's what she told me. Because the night I got eliminated, I felt might have been one of my best performances.
Yeah.
But it's no longer up to us. It's up to the voters. It's up to what the judges are gonna do that's best for them.
Yeah.
Diba? For their team to win. So I felt I'd done my best, but I guess I didn't get the votes.
Yeah, ako naman, the way I'm seeing it right now, because I have the privilege of hearing your condensed story, di ba? Sa kwento mo sa akin, at yung 4 lang na pag-ikot na yun is enough validation for a restart
It
of your
did feel
career.
good. I'm not gonna lie.
Anything after that, gravy na lang.
Mm-hmm.
Gravy na lang yun eh. Like the Nino I see now is different from the Nino I knew back then, di ba?
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
again, maybe yung distance natin at yung interval ng huling interaction natin sa ngayon gives me a clear contrast of how I see you, and I like what I see. Not
Thank
like
you.
not like the late June kind of how he saw you. Inside joke namin yun. But
Yeah.
okay, ilalanding ko na to. If you were to advise this Nino who was gonna go home to the Philippines to start a career,
Oh shit.
What
Think about it 100 times.
what would you advise?
Okay. If I would advise 15, 16-year-old Nino who's gonna go back to the Philippines to start this,
Yeah.
okay. It's in parts. Okay. Okay. The first one is when you have your first disagreement with the record label that signed you on making your second album. Just do it. Just do it. I feel that decision I made. Some opportunities came that way, but at the same time, it may have come off na I might have been a little difficult to work with. Okay, so sabi ko just, not to sell out yourself or anything like that, but listen to the labels. I feel also, I own a label now, so maybe that's why it's a little biased, but parang the labels know what they're talking about. You're not the first album or artist they're producing. They have an idea of what they're going to do with you. Even if it might not be clear to you, they see something.
Galing.
Just trust that.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. Don't try to blaze your own trail if you don't know how to drive. Okay?
Woo! That's deep. Sarap doon na.
So, and I don't know, parang, maybe not have gotten into a relationship or two, just focus on the work. You'll finish that third album faster. It sounds like it's all work related, but just know that, and this goes to not just 16-year-old, to anyone that's, wanting to do this. There's so many young Philam artists here that pangarap nilang pumunta ng Pilipinas, But the thing is that now, kasi it's a different way as opposed to when we started, where we're just gonna submit demos and meet with them or play for them, and then you just hope na interesado sila and they'll sign. Now, kasi yung mga paraan na I want to join Big Brother, I want to join this singing contest or this artista contest or whatever, and that's the way in. It's moved now. The followers, the fans, the supporters have a real voice, and really do make an impact in the decision making of who makes it and doesn't.
Right.
So just I would say be humble, with everything that you're going to experience, both bad and especially the good. When things are good, I don't mean to get religious and stuff like that, but it's like when things are good, we forget to be grateful. Okay, this is decades of hugot. What do you call it? Since I was given the opportunity to make this comeback in 2014, 2015, when I did The Voice, now despite not winning, but I won. I feel I won more. I won
I think you did.
opportunities, friends, mentors, people whom I've always looked up to, when I find out that they support me or that they like how I sing or I perform and want to work with me. Like I remember the first time I knew Ogie Alcacid. Okay. I mean, of course, who doesn't know him in the music industry? And I had met him a couple of times, hung out with him a couple of times through Rachel or Ding Dong,
Yeah.
or I'll be in like the golf tournament with him and it's, hi, kamusta? How are you? Diba? But I've always looked up to him as a songwriter, as an artist, as a creator. And I remember him reaching out during The Voice, where he was like, hey, great performance. And I'd be like, thank you, means a lot, coming from you. And then he's like, when this is all over, call me, let's do something. Diba? So I was like, oh my, these are people that I had aspired to meet, to work with,
yeah.
to become, diba? All my whole career. And now he's reaching out like this. So I was just like, oh my God, okay. So what happens? Eventually you do get eliminated. You make it into the top, whatever. But, one of Leia's best pieces of advice to me was, okay, so the only thing different from you and the person who won is they got the prize. They actually won whatever the contest's prize was. But you were on TV just as much. You got the same exposure to the same audience just as much. She's like, this is not the end. This is the beginning.
Correct.
This is a TV show. And she's like, you can't really look at it as more than that. Of course, it's nice to win. But, the exposure you got on it, this is a launch pad.
Correct.
And then so she's like,
Bragging rights lang ang panalunan nung ano.
no, the guy who won was great.
Okay.
Congratulations to him. But so I had to change the mindset because I admit that night that I had gotten eliminated, inom ako, man. Lasing ako noon. And I remember she gave me a call, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "She's like, are you drunk?" And I said, "Little bit," And then she's like, usap tayo, okay. And like I said, she's really unlike any other. And then she says, she had talked about, it's not, she was like, with you, it's different because you already know what kind of artist you are. You are already an artist. We're not trying to find this for you or something like that. She's like, this was the perfect launch pad for you to make a comeback. So I said, okay. So, after that, all of a sudden, kasi yung time natin, mga first albums ko and all that time, there was no social media. There was no YouTube. There was no Facebook. Anything, diba? No Twitter. Now, all of a sudden, whenever I perform on The Voice, 10 minutes later, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, it's on Facebook. And there are thousands of views and comments and likes and dislikes. First time ako nakaranas ng haters, ng trolls. And I remember it was like, what is this? They hate me. I didn't, parang, and then, just advice from other people. Wag mong pakinggan, wag mong patulan. Leia, don't listen to it. Don't read it. You know how you did. That's all that matters.
Galing.
So going back to Ogie, when I got eliminated, I sent him a message. I said, Kuya Ogs, a few months ago, you mentioned, that when The Voice is all over, that to give you a call. I said, I didn't win, and he's like, oh, it's okay. I was like, is that offer still open? He's like, yeah, come to the house. Let's work on something. So it was just like that. And it was like, oh my God, I'm driving to Augie's and Regine's house, and I get there and it's this beautiful house, okay, in QC, which is far from where I live.
Yeah.
But I drove. You're not gonna miss that opportunity. He's like, come on, let's go down to the studio. So I'm here, and I was just like, this is where the magic happens. This is where this song was written. This is where that song was written. I was just like, I was such a fan. Okay, and then he's like, come on, let's sit down. And the coolest thing with Ogie was like, he's like, drop all the He's like, I really appreciate all the fanboying and stuff like that. But he's like, we're the same. We're just two guys. You have your guitar, I have my piano. And he's like, let's just make music. Let's just see what we come up with. So the song that we came up with was my comeback single, Ako Iyong Iyo, which I sang last
Last night.
Yeah, I sing that.
Ito ba yung kinalabutan ako?
Yes. Yeah.
Taragis, I knew it.
Yeah. That was Augie and I. Yeah,
Like out of the blue, bigla lang ako nag-compliment sa'yo.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so we did that. That was my comeback. I know, and it was on the radio. It was on Mix. It was on all these things, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh, this. I was known as this retro rocker, where before I was, I guess, the young guy that was entering the industry. Now I'm this comebacking retro rocker, and I was like, wow. Or parang ako yung parang rocker daddy ng bayan.
Hey.
Ganon.
Okay naman Pwede naman
So I know, I was just like, okay, that's kind of funny. I had all these nicknames and stuff. So, and then, then all of a sudden, Leia was right. All these people that were advising me were right. The voice really was just a launch pad. Because now all of a sudden it was like a real career again. Opportunity where I'm starting to tour. Like Philippines, I was going all around. Iloilo, Cebu, Davao, Baguio, all these things that I had done when I was younger, when I was promoting the other stuff. But now here I was, so many years older, because of this TV show that I did. Now I'm promoting this. And then finally I got a call from the US hey, would you like to come and perform for the Pinoys in the US? And I was like, oh my God, they're asking me to tour the US. And I said, yeah, I really want to do it. They're like, yeah, we saw you on The Voice. You're one of the ones we like. We want to bring you over here. And yeah, since 2015, I've been, with the exception of the COVID years, I've been, continuously touring the US and Canada, and just getting all these opportunities to go to these places I've never been to and meet amazing people, get to perform for very appreciative crowds. And like say the difference is, we were talking about this prior to us shooting, was that now with this the comeback, which has been going on for 10 years now. The first thing, everything is humility, gratefulness, and just know that parang this opportunity is not given to everyone.
Amen.
The second time,
Amen.
So, you have to know that this is way bigger than me, you, any of us. This is, like I said, I'm not the most religious person, but this is fate at work. So parang just be happy that you're on the train, on this moving train again. So parang that's how I look at everything I do, which is why I never, I try to look at everything as an opportunity, where, okay, hindi natuloy ito, but it gives us an opportunity to do this one or this thing. It's another whole other adventure, that can, lead to other things.
Yeah.
Diba? What we did last night, I think just between the few conversations and the few words, it's going to lead to other things.
Kanina lang, when we were having lunch, may napag-usapan na tayo.
Diba? Sabi ko, we can do this, we can do that. And then just like, our very, very amazing and gracious producers, with the words they tell me that, we can do this, we're going to do that. And the other people that na lumapit sa akin kagabi, saying that they were producers from other companies and stuff, and they're saying that they want to get in touch. Oh, I mean, those were people I did not know a day before. The same thing when I did the show in Phoenix. Everything, just very, very grateful that I get this opportunity. And I'm going to do my best not to screw it up, because I want to sing till I go. I want to perform till I go. I'm going to do everything not to screw that up.
I think you won't. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nino Alejandro. Galing! Please don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to follow Nino on social media. Also, are your merch available?
Yeah, you guys can check out my merch, the +63 t-shirts. You can find it on Instagram at weareplus63.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
And I'll also post the links to the YouTube videos we were talking about. Thank you. Please subscribe. Thank you, Nino Alejandro.
Salamat, brother.
God bless you. Me too.